Metroid Fusion and Metroid Zero Mission, the two Metroid games on the Game Boy Advance. Two classic games if you ask me. As a Metroid fan, I feel like there's always a debate in the community on which game is better, Metroid Fusion or Metroid Zero Mission. So, in this video, we'll try to figure out which game is better. In my opinion, of course. Don't get in your feelings, this is only my opinion, so if you get offended. So, I decided to do a point system in 5 different categories. First one is going to be the story, second one is going to be the gameplay, third one is going to be the boss battles, fourth one is going to be the music, and the last one is going to be about the graphics. We're going to go through these, and at the end, you guys are going to know which game I think is better. And I just want to make this clear. I love these two games. These are two of my favorite games of all time. So that doesn't mean that I don't like the other game. I love these two games very much. So without further ado, I'm not gonna waste any of your time anymore, and let's get into it. The game follows the story of Samus Aran, a bounty hunter who is infected by an organism known as the X parasite while investigating a research station called the Biologic Space Laboratories. After being affected, Samus is nearly killed but is saved by the vaccine created by the DNA of the baby Metroid, which she had previously saved in Metroid 2: Return of Samus. However, as a side effect, Samus is now partially Metroid, giving her new abilities like absorbing X parasites for health and ammo. As she explores the research station, she uncovers a plot by the AI controlling the station named Adam, who has gone rogue and plans to use the X parasites as bioweapons. Samus also encounters an X parasite, mimicking her old Various suit, which eventually becomes the SAX, a powerful and hostile clone of Samus. Throughout the game, Samus battles the SAX and other creatures, eventually learning that the Metroids were created by the Chozo to combat the X parasites. In the end, Samus destroys the SAX and the X parasites, but at the cost of the Metroids, as the vaccine created from their DNA proves fatal to the X parasites. What is great about this game is that whatever you do always has a purpose, and the game always keeps you engaged in the story. There's also little things that makes a player become more engaged in the story. For example, there's cutscenes where Samus is in the elevator reflecting with herself, which is really nice. There's also face close-ups, which are nice too. Metroid Zero Mission starts with a skippable cutscene, basically telling you to kill every Metroid and the mother brain. We then land on planet Zebes, whatever. We're then presented with a text where Samus will tell the tale of her so-called Zero Mission. There's not much else that the game tells you. There's a couple of cutscenes during the game that's showing you what's happening, but with no dialogue. Some people don't like it, but I don't mind, to be honest. I think it adds a little bit of suspense. There's not much else that the game tells you. We do get another text screen later on in the game. We also get a flashback of her when she was a kid, but other than that, there's not much else to the story. It's a very straightforward game. So with all that being said, when it comes to the story, I don't even think it's close. One game has a very detailed story, while the other one only offers 2 texts. Although I don't care at all, the clear winner here is Fusion. Metroid Fusion's gameplay is similar to the one of Zero Mission, but different in many ways. To me, the first noticeable difference in the two games is the speed. Samus's movements are way slower in Fusion than it is in Zero Mission. Jumping, running, and wall jumping are the 3 main differences to me. The speed booster even feels slower in this game in my opinion. When you jump, it feels like you're in the water, or in space, which you are technically, which makes it impossible to jump in a morph ball with bombs. Wall jumping is very limited in this game. You can't jump in the same direction twice, it will launch you to the other wall. The pace of the overall game is way slower too. As soon as you start playing the game, you have to go into a navigation room. This is what I think makes the pace of this game so slow, is those damn navigation rooms. Every time you complete something, or go into a new area, you must get into a navigation room to get told what to do. These segments can take up to 2 to 3 minutes, and I feel like there's way too much of those during the game. It slows down the game and I don't like it. Fusion is also a way harder game. You will die plenty of time during your playthrough. Some enemies just need a couple of hits to kill you. You have to be careful. You can't really try to go past them without any consequences. You have to be careful even when you're just walking around. Like mentioned before, both games are similar, but in Zero Mission, jumping, running, and wall jumping is quicker. Same goes for the speed booster. And you can also speed boost in a morph ball, which gives you access to shortcuts and collectibles. Also, when wall jumping, you can go up a full wall, which is something that was not possible in Fusion. Samus is just faster in general, and I feel like you have more freedom over her movements in this game compared to Fusion. It doesn't feel like you're in space. You don't have to be really good at this game to unlock the full potential of her movements. The pace of this game is faster. When you start playing the game, there's a small text to let the player know why Samus is on their mission, and you're right into the game. It takes about 20 seconds. In this game, you have to morph ball into a statue and it will point you to where you need to go. I like it better that way, and I love the fact that it doesn't take 2 minutes of your time. It also gives the player more freedom. They don't tell you exactly what to do or where you need to go. You just know where to go approximately. The game is also not as hard as Fusion. It's a pretty easy game to be honest, and I didn't die a single time during my playthrough. I think this is one of the game's main problems. All that can be fixed with the hard difficulty, which you unlock when you complete the game once. You also get to play as Zero Suit Samus for the first time, which is really nice. Only equipped with a stun gun, you can't kill the space pirates, so you have to be stealthy, which is different from Metroid game. Like every Metroid game, Samus can collect power-ups to upgrade her suit. In Fusion, you can collect missiles, energy tanks, and power bombs. In Zero Mission, there's missiles, super missiles, energy tanks, and power bombs. In Zero Mission, you can complete the game without using any power bombs, so it kinda feels useless to collect them. You only need them if you want to 100% the game. In Fusion, they make you use every power-ups that you obtain during your adventure. Fusion also has way more power-ups to collect than Zero Mission, and since Fusion is a harder game, finding energy or missile tanks feels way more satisfying than it is in Zero Mission. I also noticed that they're harder to find in Fusion. The backtracking for every item is easier in Zero Mission. I like it that way because too much backtracking can become a bit tedious. If you like a bit of challenge when it comes to collectibles, then Fusion is probably the one to choose. But if you just want to run around and find collectibles without too much effort, then Zero Mission is the one for you. So overall, when it comes to the gameplay, you can't really go wrong with any of these two games. But if I had to choose one, I personally prefer the gameplay of Zero Mission. While Fusion presents a greater challenge and a more intricate narrative, its slower pace and heavier movement mechanics didn't resonate with me as much as Zero Mission's gameplay did. So when it comes to the gameplay, Zero Mission gets the point. The boss battles in Fusion are way more challenging and fun, and I don't think there's a debate here. There's way more boss battles in this game, and they're all challenging, and they're more original too. Some bosses make you use the environment around you to defeat them, which is really nice. And defeating a boss in Fusion is way more satisfying than it is in Zero Mission. It's also not as straightforward as finding the weak spot and just spamming missiles. For example, in this boss, I started out by shooting missiles, but they were not effective. I had to use the charge beam, and I died multiple times during those boss battles. Especially the Smelting Face boss, which is the hardest boss in the game in my opinion. In Zero Mission, the boss battles are way too easy. You just have to find the weak spot and just start spamming missiles. And it's like that for every single boss battles in the game. I mean, look at this battle for example. It only took me 9 seconds to defeat him. Yeah, 9 actual seconds. You would think that with a cutscene and all it would be a challenge, but nope. Or this one, where it only took me 8 seconds. This is very disappointing in my opinion, and I think that it's a major problem that this game has. I feel like they could have done a better job. Last example, look how fast this boss is. This is the final boss, by the way. But I feel like a lot of that has to do with the fact that Zero Mission is a remake of the original Metroid, and I feel like they couldn't go off script too much. But overall, Fusion has way more fun boss battles, so I'll give this point to Fusion. Metroid Fusion's music was composed by Minako Hamano and Akira Fujiwara. I hope I'm saying those names right. The game is known for its atmospheric and immersive qualities that enhance the game's eerie and suspenseful atmosphere. The music in Fusion is really good, I would say, but not amazing. It's not good to the point where I would listen to the OST, but it does a great job of giving an eerie feeling. Sometimes when walking into a room, the instant music change can give you chills. Same feeling when you come across SAX. You can hear Samus's heartbeat. Or when being chased by the SAX, it can get really scary. This song is good at giving a sense of urgency. There's plenty moments in the game when you feel like this, all with different music. Boss battle themes are awesome too, like this one. Or that one. Another type of mysterious song is the underwater area. And it's done in such a calm way. The game also has some uplifting songs where you feel like you're in an adventure, like this one. And this is where one of my biggest complaints lies with this game. Once you're ready to fight the final boss, you're gonna hear this song no matter where you are in the game. The song loops over and over again, which is really annoying. And that's the only reason why I didn't collect every single item in the game. Although it does a great job of being scary and having an eerie vibe, the other songs are not that good in my opinion. Zero Mission, on the other hand, has great music in my opinion. It features a memorable and atmospheric soundtrack composed once again by Minako Hamano and Kenji Yamamoto. One of the standout features of Zero Mission's music is its ability to create a sense of isolation and exploration. It does a nice job of giving you the feeling of going into an adventure. The music is often ambient and atmospheric, using eerie melodies and electronic sounds to convey the feeling of being alone on an alien planet, but not in a scary way, if that makes sense. Tracks like Title set the tone for the game, establishing a sense of mystery and adventure from the start. Here's an example of an adventurous track. And they even amplify that feeling later on in the game. Norfair is a great example of an atmospheric and lonely track, but not eerie. Kraid's Lair is one of the best tracks in the game in my opinion. It gives a feeling of tension and mystery, but at the same time, I just feel like I'm ready to kill shit. Boss battle teams are also really good. They give a good sense of action. Ridley's boss team has to be one of my favorites. This track is good at giving a stealthy feeling. I feel like it could have been a Metal Gear Solid. The escape theme is awesome, and it gives a good sense of urgency, but also makes me not want to escape. So overall, both games have amazing music. You can't go wrong with any of them. I think it comes down to personal preference at this point. While Fusion is excellent at setting the atmosphere, I just feel like Zero Mission's music is more enjoyable to listen to. So I'm giving that point to Zero Mission. Now, let's talk about the graphics. The environments in Fusions are diverse. Instead of explaining the different types of environments that this game has, let me just show you. This game has a lot to offer, ranging from eerie rooms, dimly lit rooms, alien jungles, underwater areas, ice-covered areas, desert, laboratories, and much more. Each area has its own distinct visual style. The use of lighting and shadow is particularly effective in creating a sense of tension and mystery, especially when exploring the game's darker areas. Every time you get into a new area, the color palettes change. It's a very beautiful game, and dark at the same time, and the graphics are a big part of it. Also, Samus's suit is different in this game. The Fusion suit retains the general appearance of Samus's power suit, which has a sleek and futuristic design. However, it has notable differences, such as a more streamlined appearance and a predominantly blue and yellow color scheme. The suit also features organic-looking patterns and textures, reflecting the assimilation of the X-Parasite's DNA. Now, this is a very unpopular opinion, but I really don't like her suit in this game. I know it was meant to be different, but I'm not a big fan of it. Zero Mission has more vibrant colors in my opinion. This game's art style was not meant to be creepy. The environments are very diverse. It features a mix of futuristic hallways, alien landscapes, weird blue looking floors, weird green looking floors with purple backgrounds. This is probably my favorite area in this game. Heated rooms, laboratories, a big ass spaceship, and much more. Just like Fusion, each room has its own visual identity with detailed sprite work and smooth animation. Zero Mission is a very beautiful game to look at, and I think this is why I love this game so much. In my opinion, Zero Mission has better graphics than Fusion. I prefer the art style and the color palettes that this game went for. So, when it comes to the graphics, I guess it's fair to say that I prefer the graphics of Zero Mission. But that doesn't mean that Fusion has bad graphics. I think it all comes down to opinion. But if I have to give a final verdict, it would go to Zero Mission. So overall, these are two amazing games. You can't go wrong with any of them. Every year, I play these two games at least once. That's how much I love these games. Even though Zero Mission won, that doesn't mean that Fusion is a bad game. Like, it's far from it. These are two amazing games, and which one you prefer depends on you at the end of the day. It's your opinion. But in my opinion, I prefer Zero Mission. So yeah, two amazing games. Don't get it twisted. If you ever get a chance to play these games, go ahead and do it. You can play it now on Switch. There's emulators. Pretty easy to find these games nowadays. So yeah, give it a chance. They're really good games, I swear to God. But yeah, that is it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with your friends, family member, girlfriends. Anything will help. And I guess I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.